Welcome back to USA Coin. Here we dive deep into the fascinating world of US coins, exploring the history, design, and market value of some of America's most sought-after currency. If you're a coin enthusiast or just someone curious about the change in your pocket, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss an episode. 1987 D1 cent coin. Today we're taking a closer look at three unique 1-cent coins that represent key moments in US minting history: the 1987 D 1979 and 1974 Lincoln cents. Whether you're here to learn about their designs, discover potential errors, or find out how much they're worth on today's collector market, we've got it all covered. Let's start with the 1987 D Lincoln cent. 1987 D Lincoln cent. The 1987 D Lincoln cent is one of the later coins in the Lincoln Memorial series, which was in circulation from 1959 to 2008. By the time this coin was minted, the Lincoln cent had already become a fixture in American culture, recognizable by young and old alike. The D mint mark on this coin signifies that it was minted in Denver, one of the primary mints used for circulating coinage in the United States. The late 1980s were economically turbulent for the US, with financial deregulation and a booming stock market. However, the penny remained a staple in daily transactions despite inflation pressures. Coins like this 1987 D were produced in vast quantities, as the penny was still heavily used for commerce. Now let's talk design. Like most Lincoln cents in this era, the 1987 D features the profile of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse or head side, designed by Victor David Brenner. Brenner's initials VDB can be found near the rim on the bust of Lincoln, a detail that collectors enjoy spotting. On the reverse side, we have the Lincoln Memorial designed by Frank Gasparo. This design became iconic, appearing on the back of pennies from 1959 until the series redesign in 2009. In the memorial design, you can even make out a tiny depiction of Lincoln seated inside, a fine detail that makes this coin special. The Denver Mint struck nearly 4.5 billion of these coins, making them widely available and common in circulation. However, condition and rarity factors can make certain coins more valuable to collectors. Uncirculated or mint state examples of the 1987 D are more sought after and command higher values in the market. For the average 1987 D in circulation, the value remains at face value 1 cent. However, coins in mint state or uncirculated conditions can fetch around $0.10 to $1. If you come across one in excellent condition or with rare die errors, it could be worth even more. For those graded MS67 or higher, values can rise into the $50 range. Speaking of errors, let's discuss what collectors look for in a 1987 D. Some valuable errors on this coin include doubled dies, repunched mint marks, and off-center strikes. For example, a 1987 D with an off-center strike might sell for $20 to $50 to $50 depending on the degree of misalignment. While this coin may not stand out in terms of rarity, high-grade specimens or error coins have certainly captured collector interest. The 1987 D is a staple for Lincoln cent enthusiasts and rounds out any modern penny collection. Now let's jump back a few years and examine the 1979 Lincoln cent. 1979 Lincoln cent. The 1979 Lincoln cent hails from a pivotal time in U.S. history. Inflation was on the rise and the dollar's purchasing power was declining. As with the 1987 D, this penny continued the Lincoln Memorial design that had been introduced 2 decades prior. Coins minted in the late 1970s reflect the enduring legacy of Abraham Lincoln and the U.S. Mint's commitment to producing coins that served both functional and symbolic purposes. The 1979 penny features the same classic design elements by Brenner and Gasparo, with Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. This consistency in design created a sense of continuity, making Lincoln cents easy to recognize and collect. The Philadelphia and Denver mints produced over 7 billion of these coins combined, reflecting the high demand for pennies in everyday transactions during that era. The Philadelphia coins lack a mint mark, while the Denver coins carry a small D. Both types are widely available, though higher grade examples are more collectible. Most 1979 Lincoln cents are worth their face value, but mint condition examples can reach $0.10 to $2 depending on grade. High quality graded specimens can be even more valuable, with MS67 examples reaching $30 to $50. Common errors to look for include doubled dies, filled dies, and off-center strikes. Such errors can raise a 1979 penny's value significantly, with certain examples selling for $20 to $100 or more. Lastly, let's delve into the details of the 1974 Lincoln cent. 1974 Lincoln cent. In 1974, the U.S. was recovering from an energy crisis and economic challenges. The Lincoln cent, however, remained unchanged, still honoring America's 16th president. The 1974 penny reflects both stability and continuity in American coinage as inflation and other economic pressures loomed. The design features Brenner's iconic profile of Lincoln on the obverse and Gasparo's Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, carrying forward the visual language Americans had come to recognize. No major design changes were introduced, making the 1974 coin blend well with others in the Lincoln Memorial series. The U.S. Mint produced over 4 billion 1974 pennies across its Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco facilities. Collectors can identify the mint with the D or S mark, while coins from Philadelphia are mark-free. While typical 1974 pennies remain at face value, uncirculated or mint state coins can go for $0.10 to $2. And if you find a high-grade specimen with an MS67 or better, you're looking at a value of around $30 to $40. Collectors watch for notable errors, especially the aluminum cent prototype from 1974, which was never circulated. Though these are illegal to own, they are intriguing for historical reasons. Otherwise, look for doubled dies or minor misstrikes, valuable anomalies that add interest to any collection. The 1977 1-cent coin. To truly appreciate the 1977 1-cent coin, let's first set the stage with a bit of historical context. The United States was experiencing significant changes in the 1970s. Inflation was on the rise, and the cost of minting coins, particularly pennies, was steadily increasing. Despite this, the U.S. Mint continued producing copper coins at a large scale. Little did they know that in just a few years, the composition of the penny would change forever. In 1982, the U.S. Mint would switch from 95% copper to a copper-plated zinc core to save on production costs. Design features. Now let's take a closer look at the design of the 1977 1-cent coin. Like other pennies minted from 1909 onwards, the obverse side features the bust of Abraham Lincoln, created by sculptor Victor David Brenner. Brenner's portrait has been a staple of the Lincoln cent since it was introduced in 1909 to celebrate Lincoln's 100th birthday. The 1977 penny shows Lincoln in profile facing right. Above Lincoln's head is the phrase, "In God We Trust," while liberty is inscribed to his left, and the year 1977 to the right of his image. Turning the coin over, we see the reverse side, which until 2008 showcased the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. This design was introduced in 1959 and continued through to 2008, marking the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. Above the Lincoln Memorial is the phrase "United States of America" with the motto "E pluribus unum" directly beneath it. At the bottom is the coin's denomination, 1 cent. 1977 was a high mintage year for the penny, with over 4 billion pennies produced. The coins were minted in Philadelphia and Denver. However, there were no pennies minted in San Francisco for circulation that year, so any 1977 S coins you find are proof coins, produced specifically for collectors and only available in proof sets. So what's a 1977 penny worth today? In circulated condition, most 1977 pennies aren't worth more than their face value of 1 cent, as they're fairly common. However, in uncirculated or higher grades, they can hold more value. A 1977 penny in pristine condition, graded at MS67 or above by the Professional Coin Grading Service (PCGS) or the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation (NGC), could fetch anywhere from $10 to $25 due to its mint state. One thing that can significantly increase a 1977 penny's value is the presence of errors. Some common errors to look for include double die errors on the obverse or reverse and off-center strikes. These errors are rare but highly sought after by collectors and can boost the coin's value considerably. 1968 1 cent. Now let's rewind even further back to 1968. This was a period marked by social change, the Vietnam War, and the space race. From a numismatic perspective, 1968 was notable because it marked the first year that San Francisco pennies were minted with the S mint mark after a 23-year gap. The 1968 penny features the classic Lincoln design, with the obverse bearing Abraham Lincoln's profile and the reverse showing the Lincoln Memorial. This design, as we mentioned earlier, was crafted by Victor David Brenner and is beloved for its simplicity and dignified portrayal of Lincoln. In 1968, pennies were minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. This is especially important for collectors as 1968 S pennies are more sought after due to the lower production numbers compared to Philadelphia and Denver. The U.S. Mint produced millions of 1-cent coins in 1968, but the mintages varied by location. In Philadelphia, over 1 billion pennies were minted, while Denver produced around 2.3 billion. San Francisco, however, only produced around 258 million pennies, making the S mint mark variety more scarce and desirable among collectors. When it comes to market value, 1968 pennies are generally worth their face value, especially in circulated condition. However, if you find a 1968 S penny in uncirculated or higher grades, it may be worth more to collectors, sometimes fetching between $5 and $10 depending on the grade. Errors in 1968 pennies can make these coins worth significantly more than face value. Look out for varieties like double dies, particularly on the obverse side, where phrases like "liberty" or "in God we trust" appear. Off-center strikes and repunched mint marks, especially on the 1968 S pennies, are also known to attract a premium. Collectors often enjoy the thrill of discovering these errors, as each unique coin tells a story about the minting process and adds a little something extra to any collection. Thanks for watching this in-depth look at the 1977 and 1968 United States 1-cent coins. These pennies may seem ordinary at first glance, but each one holds a unique piece of history and, in some cases, a hidden value. Whether you're checking your pocket change or expanding your collection, it's always worth taking a closer look at your coins.